Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Nice to see you again. Thanks for tuning in. Yesterday, I took my 8x10 view camera out to Catherine Creek, place I like to go to test different things, because I got a crazy idea to see how an 8x10 sheet of film compares to the Pentax K3 Mark III monochrome. And the results are kind of really fascinating. The two things that I accomplished yesterday is I exposed a sheet of 8x10 FP4 Plus, and I developed it in D76, ID11, same thing. One's Ilford, one's Kodak. 1-to-1 for 11 minutes, 68 degrees, and turned out great. So nice negative. And because the Pentax doesn't really have much video capabilities, the monochrome's not bad, but it would be usable. But it's monochrome, and that's great for making a monochrome video. I've been experimenting with different video options to take with me for making videos in the field, and I used an iPhone, which was 4K, whatever. And the first time I used it, it turned out fine, but yesterday it completely crapped out, and I'm not quite sure what was wrong, but I'm not going to screw around with that anymore. I can't trust it, right? So that's why I'm sitting in the office making this video here, and yeah. Okay, so the two things that I accomplished yesterday is I got a negative that I could compare to the K3 Mark III monochrome, because I shot the 8x10 and then I shot the monochrome, same scene, same lighting. And I also took the opportunity I have the yellow, green, orange, and red filters. And I took the opportunity to make an exposure with the K3 Mark III monochrome with the red filter, the orange filter, the yellow filter, and the green filter. And the results were interesting, pretty much what I would have expected. So how that works with putting the filter, a colored filter, in front of a black and white sheet of film or on a digital black and white sensor like the monochrome K3 Mark III, opposite colors will darken and similar colors will lighten. So in other words, a green filter will make anything that's colored green in your image or close to green on the color wheel, remember those, will lighten those tones, and the opposite will darken. So like with blue sky, if you put a red filter on it, it'll make the blue sky dark. So that's how that works. Now in this scene here, it wasn't very colorful, but surprisingly, there were a lot of blues and cyans. So it did make a difference. Like the yellow filter significantly lightened everything. I think my favorite of all the filtration images is the red one, but that's only because the red filter is the darkest of the filters. It lets in the least amount of light for some reason, and because that's the way it works. And so it was like a 4 or 5 second exposure, which blurred the water kind of like the 30-second exposure for the Ilford FP4 Plus did. And so it kind of matched up in that respect for the blurring of the water. What I should have done was used my neutral density filter to blur the water and done a 30-second exposure on the K3 Mark III. So first I will show you what all the filtration looks like and I'll make a composite image with the non-filtered image in the middle and then the yellow, red, I'll mark them and you can see that. So let's look at that now. Okay, now the surprising thing for me, the filters behaved like I expected them to behave, but the really surprising thing for me is that how the K3 Mark III, the tonality, was so close to the Ilford FP4 Plus. As a matter of fact, I actually made a couple of prints, and yeah, now on these prints, when you can see that there, let's see if I can get that to focus. Right there. I've got a couple of 8-month-old kittens, and I put these prints out on the kitchen table, and I went back 10 minutes later, and the kittens were eating them. So yeah, I love my kittens, but boy, don't leave your photographs out when the kittens are around. So the interesting thing, so what I did is I cropped 8x10, 8x10, you know, because it's a 2x3 ratio on the K3 Mark III. Kind of evened that up a little bit, and I picked the red filter to print. I also printed the non-filtered one. Honestly, I kind of shuffled the prints around, and I was looking at them closely, and I kind of got confused as to which one was which, and the only way I could really tell was the composition, which absolutely blew me away. And I don't want to admit this because this is really depressing in some ways, or it's really a great thing depending upon how you look at it. Honestly, I think the K3 Mark III tonality, I can't believe I'm saying this, is actually a little bit better than the Ilford FP4 Plus in 8x10, which is just shocking to me. I mean, I guess I need to go in the darkroom and print a print to see how the digital print compare. But you know, the further you go down that rabbit hole, you start like introducing other things into it. Like now we're testing, you know, paper emulsions versus ink on, you know, so things start getting weird. But let me just tell you this. So it's all about confidence in the field. When I go out to photograph something, I want to know that the gear is capable of getting the results that I want to get if I do my part. And that's the hard part, is doing my part. But I need to have confidence in my gear that it's capable of doing it if I do my part. And that's why a test like this, man, gives me, it's a data point of 1. So take that with a grain of salt. It's one image that I tested this on, but it did it once, right? So I am really confident in the K3 Mark III's tonality. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of amazed. I showed both prints to my wife, and I mean, she's not a photographer, but she's been looking at a lot of prints over the past 25 years that we've been together, and so she's, you know, I don't know how trained her eye is, but she actually thought that the K3, she knows what an 8x10 is, she knows what the K3 is, and she actually picked the K3 Mark III monochrome as the 8x10 image because she assumed and had that prejudice that the 8x10 image would be the better image. And like I said, I personally think that the K3 monochrome image was the better image for black and white for tonality. It just has a little bit more subtle gradations in the tonality in the prints. I mean, Now I scanned the 8x10 negative on my Epson V850. I scanned it at 1600 DPI. Native resolution on that is like 30 by 40, 300, printing at 300, something like that. It's huge. Okay. Honestly, the only real difference that I can tell between the 8x10 Ilford FP4 Plus negative and the K3 Mark III monochrome, not that I can tell, but the only difference that I can see that there would be is that the 8x10 negative has almost an unlimited enlargeability factor. You can drum scan it at 3200 DPI and make a 300 or 3200, was it pixels, or I always get confused about that, but whatever. I only scanned it at 1600 as a 350 megabyte file. So if you drum scanned it at 3200 or whatever, I mean, it would be ginormous at native resolution. So and the APS-C Pentax, I'm sure that you reach a point probably about 40 by 60 where you know it may not be as nice looking enlarged, although at that point you've got gigapixel AI and all the rest of it. So I mean, for all intents and purposes, for what I want to use it for, and the biggest print I'd ever make is maybe a 20 by 30. But even then, I mean, I only have capability to make 16 by 20s. So I am fully confident that a 16 by 20 made from the Pentax K3 Mark III monochrome would be as good or indistinguishable from a print from an 8 by 10 film negative, which, I mean, we're there. I'm happy. It's all good, right? So let's look at those now. And here's the two. So the one I'm going to show you is going to be the one with the red filter on the K3 Mark III, and that's only because that's the one I cropped to 8 to the 4:5 ratio, and also because that has the longest exposure that blurred the water, so they're the most similar. But as you can see, the tonality on either one's a little darker, whatever. I can make both of these images look almost identical with just a little bit of lightening and darkening. That's it. So, and all the K3 Mark III monochrome images are straight out of camera JPEGs. So keep that in mind as well. So here, that's what these look like to compare. Yeah, there it is. You're not going to see this content on anyone else's channel. I'll tell you that much. I'd love to see somebody else do a 4:5 black and white film versus the monochrome or whatever comparison just to see what the kind of results they get. But as far as I know, there's nobody else doing anything like this on YouTube. So if you liked what I did and you like this content, just hit the subscribe button, please. That just helps me out tremendously and makes me want to go out there in the cold and do more content. Like, you never know what I'm going to come up with, right? So yeah, and hit the like button there as well. That makes the algorithm get all excited and promotes my channel. Again, the better my channel does, the more motivated I am to get out there and keep making these videos. So for everyone in the United States, have a peaceful, happy, healthy Thanksgiving. Be safe and enjoy family time or whatever you're doing for Thanksgiving. And for everybody else in the rest of the world, have a couple of beers and enjoy yourself and have a good time. I really appreciate you watching, and we'll see you out there. Have a great one. Bye.